Hi everyone, this is Susan and I'm back. I'm going to give you just a short overview of what this course is about and what do we really mean by digital publishing and how do we fit into that concept of digital publishing. So really anything that we consume content-wise through a digital means, a computer network, the internet, that really is digital publishing. So it can be a very broad field, or very broad industries, and it encompasses a lot of different industries. When you start to look at like even book publishing, you've got textbook publishers, you've got graphic novel publishers, you've got comic book publishers. So there's so many different niches of content just from the book publishing industry alone. And then you can look at music streaming and you can look at television streaming. These are all, in a way, this is all digital publishing. They're publishing these, whether it's a TV show or a game, but we're consuming it digitally. So technically that's a part of digital publishing. But we're focusing on the more traditional notion of digital publishing as it really encompasses the book and magazine industries. Looking at the book and magazine industries is really interesting when we look at the digital disruption that happened that forced these print-only industries into them becoming electronic and digital publishers. And both of these industries, while they have a lot in common, to some extent, are really different, right? So what we're going to be doing as digital publishers, like by actually starting and branding a blog, is kind of it's more leans a little bit more towards magazine publishing in that it's a very niche topic. But we start with book publishing because book publishing really is what we really think of when we think of the publishing industry. We think of books, we think of magazines, we think of news. So I am excluding news, we're not really going to look at the news industry because it's very different than the book and magazine industries. And you're going to be surprised when you find out probably how healthy and vibrant really the magazine industry really is. We know that the print news is really suffering, right? And whether or not we're ever going to see the time, I think we will see the time when we no longer have printed newspapers. I don't think it's going to happen within like the next 5 years. I think it's going to take a little longer, but I think that will happen. But we're already at the point with books and magazines where we have both. And what's interesting about these two industries is that they're truly the hybrids. They're truly print and digital. And that's what makes them really so interesting to look at, right? As sort of our background and where we want to start. So we will start by looking at the book industry in the week one, and then we'll bring in the magazine industry and we'll look at that. And really, when we look at the book industry and we look at the magazine industry, they're both content publishers, right? But what the big difference there is when the digital disruption happened, the financial model of the book publishing industry didn't change. Book publishers sell books. It could be an ebook, a print book, a hard copy. It could be an audio version of the book, but it's all the book, right? Whereas and that's the revenue model. And whereas magazines, their revenue model is largely based on print advertising. So it's really interesting to look at these two different industries that are related, but are really different, and look at how, especially the magazine industry, by going online and with so much digital publishing, has really opened up this whole concept of the niche publisher, which is where we come in as bloggers. So I think that you're going to find that really interesting. So the first 2 weeks of the course, we're going to look at the background of book publishing and magazine publishing. We're also going to look at how people read on the web versus how they read in print. And I think you're also going to be surprised when you see how many people still really read in print, and that print really is the preferred method of reading. It's not mine. I actually prefer reading books on my Kindle. but I'm actually the minority, which is kind of interesting. So, one of the things I like to do in class is I like to ask people, okay, so you're going on vacation and I am giving you the book that you want to take with you. It can be a hardcover, it could be a paperback, or it's an ebook. What would you like? And almost 97% of students always pick the print book, which I think is always really interesting. So that's what we'll be doing in the first part of the course. That's kind of our backdrop as we look to see where we fit in, to traditional publishing and hybrid publishing. And so I think this background, I think you'll find it pretty interesting. And technology disruption is really the common denominator that runs through all of this. And I think you'll find that a really interesting concept as well. Okay, so that is where we're going to start with the course, and I'll be back in the next video to talk about your blogging project.